YouTube! I'm Random, and I'm here to pick apart another episode of Star Trek Discovery. Now, since I like the Orville way more than this, I'm sure I have no taste and my opinion doesn't matter, but it's fun for me to dive into the show anyway, right? So, we're on episode 6, and I can't remember the name of the episode off the top of my head, but I'll look it up and put it in the description or in the title. So, okay, I actually like how Vulcan looks here. That little dot here, that's Sarek waiting to get on his shuttle. He's off on a secret diplomatic mission thingy. But yeah, I think Vulcan looks pretty decent here. It's supposed to be a really hot planet, and I could totally buy this being the same planet we see on Enterprise. I'm more than happy to see little updates here and there. It's just the great big huge changes for the sake of change that I really, really hate. You know, like the Klingons looking so different, and, you know, a million other things that I could go into. And on Discovery, Burnham wants to coach Tilly into becoming a captain. But poor Tilly, idolizing the very unlikable, not Spock. I am kind of mixed here. I get that they're trying to make Burnham look like she cares, but she really comes across as so much of a know-it-all. Tilly's too socially awkward to realize that she doesn't need Michael Burnham to idolize. And she's smart and capable on her own, but whatever. Oh, also, Disco! Like, don't you love the shirts? I love the shirts. Short for Discovery, obviously, but, you know, whatever. Because they realized too late that people like me would call the show STD, maybe? And that it would look bad on a shirt, maybe, that was, like, promoting the show. Totally fine on a shirt ripping it off, though, or ripping it apart, rather. But it's just a perfect example of the lack of thought and care that really goes into the show. Now, Captain Lorca here is using some target practice, quality time to question Ash Tyler and get to know him a little bit. You know, instead of, I don't know, letting Starfleet debrief the guy, maybe have him see a shrink on a starbase. Hey, how about that Admiral chick we have seen before, you know? She has a background in psychiatry. Maybe have a nice Skype chat with her before returning to active duty. Maybe... You know, like they would in any other military situation. I mean, sure Lorca has used some article of war to get Burnham on the ship, but she hasn't been on a Klingon ship for 7 months getting tortured. This really wouldn't happen at all. I'm not even going to speculate the little inconsistencies in Ash's answers versus Lorca's questions right now. You know, but yeah, this whole decision won't bite us in the ass in the future at all. Totally not gonna. And I'm not gonna crap all over this too harshly. It's kind of a holographic battle simulation. They don't actually call it a holodeck. But still, we aren't supposed to have this technology yet. I mean, I already picked apart the whole Star Wars holographic communication stuff already, but... As long as they don't just flat out call it a holodeck and we don't have, like, whole holodeck episodes at this point in time, I'm probably not going to hate that too much. And now, of course, despite everything I've already mentioned about POWs probably needing some therapy, or the very least of debriefing, Lorca's offering Ash's job as chief of security. Yeah. And we didn't already get into it in the last episode. Lorca points out that Ash fights like a Klingon. Yeah, no shit, a Klingon probably, or a probable Klingon fights like a Klingon. Yeah. Even as this aired, I rolled my eyes at that line. Like, we all kind of have been speculating at this point that, you know, he's probably a Klingon. And anybody that could look up anything at the point that this episode aired already kind of knew. We were already pretty sure this guy was a Klingon at this point. Hey, either this Vulcan's getting high or he's about to become a suicide bomber. Okay, is it just me or does anyone else find this hilariously bad? That this idiot flashes the whole live long and prosper as he's about to blow himself and Sarek up? Oh my god. I mean, I guess they're Vulcan extremists, and, you know, they want to murder Vulcans for being in the Federation. But, is this Vulcan guy making an attempt at humor, maybe? I mean, I laughed, but seriously, I doubt the Vulcans have humor in their character like this. At least not like they're gonna go and blow themselves up for a joke. I mean, heck, even using that symbol, right? Even using this to mean peace and long life is pretty funny, right? I have to point out that this show doesn't really seem to be like it's for hardcore fans who are going to know every single version of this. They're just going to be like, hey, I saw it on The Big Bang Theory once. This means live long and prosper, right? but yeah, like like the casual viewer for the show knows what a Vulcan is, knows live long and prosper. They know who Spock is. But just to make sure I wasn't being an idiot and misremembering stuff, I even went over to the Memory Alpha site, right? The Star Trek wiki. Just to make sure that there isn't some secret meaning. I mean, but no, it's pretty much live long and prosper. Oh yeah, there's also no mention of this Vulcan using it in this, this time. Yeah, Vulcans tend not to use that before blowing themselves up, but I don't think suicide bombing is really in Vulcan's characters anyway. That, I don't know. It might be just me. But hey, welcome to Star Trek Discovery. It's a work in progress. Seriously, the opening credits really represent all you need to know about the show. Like, the writers are pulling a lot of stuff out of their asses as they go. It's like, we've got the blueprints for the show. Let's start filming. Oh, do we have any other materials? Like the writing? No, nothing. That's good enough. We'll just make it up as we go. Okay. Not Spock. Meet the not Klingon. He'll be your love interest for this series, despite the fact that you two have no chemistry whatsoever and never even smiled at each other once. Poor Tilly here is trying to, like, get them to speak and trying to get not Spock here to be nice to him. I gotta hand it to Tilly to be hopelessly optimistic, but... And we have a nice split-second fake-out by the writers to throw us off the whole Ash is a Klingon trail. Not Spock has a reaction after shaking Tyler's hand and staring at him. You think she's remembering him and can kind of put two and two together by his eyes or his voice or something, but no. It's just Sarek mind-melding with her across the galaxy. I guess we've seen this before in Enterprise when T'Pol and Trip would have visions of each other after Trip transferred to that other ship he was on for a while. Remember in season 4, but... Yeah, oh, plus Archer did carry around the Katra or Soul of Serac. I don't really remember anyone being able to mind meld from that far away, though. I guess you start seeing trails like this if you're dropping acid or something. And a Vulcan tries to mind meld with you from a distance. I don't know. But Sarek's showing Burnham images of Vulcan from inside of his mind. Now, again, I do like the way Vulcan looks here. It looks kind of cool. Love the red trees. Love the still kind of water reflection. It's really cool looking. But here's something that I'm a little confused on, right? So, in the past, Sarek's remembering his wife saying how wonderful Michael is. On the other hand, Michael's saying she's not good enough to compete with the Vulcans, right? Sarek's even saying that she's not disciplined in logic or martial arts. He thinks maybe she should go over to Starfleet where the requirements are less strict. Of course, Burnham's holding that Alice in Wonderland book right here. You can kind of see it. from a few episodes ago, right? Remember that? Well, me neither, but the book was so important that she had to go around quoting it when she was crawling through the Jeffries tubes fighting the monster thing, and it was even so important that she had to go and give it to Tilly. But, okay, so is Burnham good or not? Are they trying to write in some sort of self-doubt? Because they're kind of failing miserably here for me. I have one more criticism here, though. Why is a grown woman clutching an Alice in Wonderland book like it's a teddy bear or a security blanket? I mean, no wonder the Vulcans didn't want her in the Vulcan Club. She's basically standing there with her childhood Banky. So... everything we've already seen about Sarek mind-melding with Burnham as a kid and sharing part of his soul is exposition dumped all over again for those of you who weren't paying attention. Plus, Sarek is in trouble and calls out to her instead of his wife, that he's mated with, or children he's actually biologically connected to. No, it's Burnham because she's had a soul graft. I guess he used his soul to heal her so that she would live in the Klingon attack thing. And of course, Lorca has to check out Burnham's story with about Sarek being hurt. And yep, it's true. Sarek was blown up by a Vulcan extremist dude, and the idiot who flashed the live long and prosper before blowing himself up. Yeah, that guy. So Sarek was off on a mission to talk about ending the war with the Klingons. It totally wasn't a trap or anything. And I kind of like this Vulcan. He's cool looking. Anyway, I'd like to see more of him because he seems like a pretty reasonable admiral, right? So, of course, they go to a nebula, and it's freaking huge. It's a nebula. So, not Spock wants to have Stamets build a synthetic mind meld augment thingy, because they can't really go through and just scan and pinpoint. It's a freaking huge nebula. Oh, and Stamets is acting like he's super high instead of a dick. So, he's a lot more likable now that he's high. And, of course, they can't fly the giant Discovery into the nebula because the nebula mixed with the spores on the ship would make it go boom. But they can send a shuttle. And we have not Spock getting flown in by not a Klingon into a nebula inside of a not a puddle jumper, apparently. Nice. Is there a reason why the shuttle looks like the ones from Stargate Atlantis now? I mean, yeah, it doesn't have the little foldy-outy bits, but whatever. Making me long for a show I'd much rather be watching right now. Thanks, Star Trek. Hey, wow, Admiral Cornwall! I love her. So here, she's actually here trying to do her job to chew out Lorca for using a mutineer, a POW, and even for him allowing Stamets to use eugenics to interface with the spore drive thingy, right? So she's pissed that Lorca's sending a bunch of people that really shouldn't be going on a rescue mission that isn't cleared and is super secret. I do like her quite a bit. She tries to confront Lorca, at least. And of course, she's easily distracted with some sweet-talking booze. I mean, it's clear that they're supposed to have history here. It's just really too bad that she's so busy being a giggly schoolgirl wet for Lorca that she forgets he might not be okay for his job. I mean, I guess she wants to give him the benefit of the doubt, but still. So now I'm not going to get into this too much, but here's a major plot kerfuffle, maybe? Plot WTF moment for me. So not Spock here tells Tilly that she's only special to Sarek because she was supposed to be his proof that humans were equal to Vulcans. That it was Sarek's experiment to prove that humans and Vulcans can live together and get along, whatever. So, first off, I thought we already had that happen when Archer made friends with that Vulcan ambassador after saving his life. After taking down the Romulan spy, finding the cult of Serac, having Serac's Katra inside of him, and leading them basically to find that whole Vulcan version of the Bible filled with all the teachings of Serac, Oh, and Sarek totally married a human and had a son with her, right? That guy Spock, but, who the hell remembers any of that, right? Not like that Spock guy was ever mentioned again. I mean, he's no Michael Burnham, right? So Burnham starts fighting with Sarek in his mind. He doesn't want her to help, even though his dying thoughts are of her failure. Now, I like the little chat that the Admiral has with Lorca here. They chat over some booze and flirt a little. And she does question that he's really okay to be in command after being tortured, but she's still got history with him, right? It's like, they're actually one of the few believable human moments on the show. She points out that he hasn't been the same since his old ship, the Rant, I think, was destroyed, right? So, that might come up again. Of course, he distracts and charms her, but I actually believe they have history and chemistry. Unlike a lot of the other characters on this show, they actually work as people who have, had any interaction before. I'm talking about you, Giorgio and Burnham, in the first opening scene of episode 1. So Ash, being like the most logically human person on the ship, does get Burnham to stop being so focused on herself for a damn minute and has her think about why Sarek might be thinking about the day she graduated. It's not that she failed him, but rather that Sarek failed her, like any father or mentor might think. And this really drives home how immature and unlikable Burnham is. She needs the totally not a Klingon spy, Ash Tyler, to tell her that maybe Sarek's doubting something he did. So we find out that Vulcans don't want Sarek to have a couple of his non-Vulcan experiments enter the Vulcan thingy, whatever. I guess the Vulcans can come across as a bit xenophobic, even a bit stuck up, totally arrogant. So, of course, Sarek is having an issue that he chose Spock over Burnham to go, even though Spock threw away the opportunity and chose Starfleet. So, Sarek's ashamed that he made the wrong choice, to not appear emotional or illogical. And, of course, Burnham gets through to him and does the mind meld thingy through space with the sciencey stuff and heals him enough for him to set up that transponder, beacon, whatever, right? And, of course, now the Admiral and Lorca are in bed, after doing the thing that they do in bed, right? She's noticing some weird scars on his back. But he, of course, immediately flips the crap out and tries to kill her. Like somebody maybe from the Mirror Universe would do, because they have a history of moving up the ranks and killing lovers in bed. Sure, this could just be PTSD, but, sadly, there were leaks very, very, very early on from the production crew about Mirror Universe stuff, so I'm totally looking for clues here. Everybody was looking for clues here. Of course, the Admiral's all, "You're not the man I used to know," and is going to report back to Starfleet. He tries to manipulate her into backing off, but she's not having any of it. Good girl. Good girl. Don't trust a man sweet-talking you. And, of course, Sarek is over here recovering in sick bay, and Burnham, of course, has to be the whole know-it-all and pretty much tells Sarek, "You know what happened, don't pretend you don't remember," inside of your head. She's trying to talk to him about it, right? She tries to force him into having some sort of family discussion. And, of course, he's like, "But we're not related." And she's like, "Yes, but we're still family. You still raised me." And she comes across as such a bitch, though. Like, seriously, the man's a Vulcan, and he's the man who raised you. Show a little respect to him. But no, she has to be a bitch and all sarcastic and have the last word by calling him father, the way I like to call her not Spock. I love that expression too. And I guess this is her opening up to Tyler. I think she almost smiled at him for about a second. It's really hard to tell with her because, she's being directed to be, this tough as nails Vulcan, no emotion, she's a Vulcan. But she's not. You're not Spock. It's like, seriously, she has more chemistry with Tilly. Like, I just don't have any investment on this forced romance crap. Sorry. So remember that mission Sarek was on earlier? Well, me neither, but Lorca decides that the Admiral should go because he's able to give that order now. Yeah. I get the Admiral's close enough to kind of do the mission, but, it seems convenient that she just happens to be the one that's there to go and meet the Klingons and just happens to want to tell Starfleet that Lorca's unfit for duty. She even has a line before she leaves where she tells Lorca, "This isn't over. As soon as I get back, I'm totally telling on you." I don't know why she wouldn't send an encrypted message back to Starfleet, though. Especially before going on a super secret and probably dangerous mission that's most likely a trap. But it's totally not a trap. She'll be fine, right? Whatever. She's hopeful, I guess. Hey, too bad about the security dudes. The Klingons were nice enough to let all of their CG blood out of their necks, right? That's pretty nice of those Klingons. Hey, wait, what do you mean this is a trap? They wanted a high-ranking Vulcan, but now they got a Starfleet Admiral instead. Lucky for those Klingons, I guess. I have no idea what they're going to do with a high-ranking prisoner anyway. Like, what do they need a high-ranking Starfleet or Vulcan prisoner for? It's not like they're going to need to do a prisoner exchange or will they? Maybe I tuned out the reasoning part. I mean, I do tend to daydream every time the Klingons are on screen, to be honest. So now Saru goes to Lorca to tell him that Admiral got captured. He's like, so Lorca's like, go tell Starfleet and ask for orders. It's their problem. Now Saru knows that in most circumstances they would go on a rescue mission because this captain's kind of a hothead, and that's kind of what you do on a ship like this. So he questions it, and this really makes us believe that Lorca's more than happy with the Admiral being captured. It does kind of get her out of his hair and keeps her from taking his ship, at least for a little while, right? And, of course, we see that he's carrying around his phaser. Hey, is he from the Mirror Universe or something? Like, why would he have the phaser on him after the Admiral's gone, right? Does he think Saru might attack him? Maybe not Spock or somebody? Is this, really only shown here as like a clue by four? Like a clue by four is basically a clue mounted on the end of a 2x4 that is repeatedly bashing you upside the head until you get it, right? I mean, I think a lot of us would have probably picked up on it, but it's so bad that they had leaks so early in the production about Mirror Universe stuff, because we're looking for stuff like this. Especially with the whole Stamets standing in the back of in the mirror, looking back at us as he's walking out of the room. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been super fun going through these and picking apart this show because I do want to love Star Trek. I'll see you guys on the next video, or feel free to stop by any of my live streams if you like. Bye!